Friends, it's Deanna here, and today we're doing the Beatbox Romper sew along, and I'm excited because this is such a cute pattern, and so I'm excited to try it on and do it together. So I already cut all my pieces out, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're gonna do is assemble our hood. So if you're not making a hood, then you can skip this part, but I am, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. And I already, what you're going to do is you're going to grab your hood one side and then the other one right on top. And you're going to sew the crown, so sew up here together. So we're going to put it right on top of each other. And pin. And then we're going to sew around that edge. Now you're going to do this all to the liner as well. So I already did it to my other one. So I did one and then I'm doing another one. The same thing, just sewing around that edge. Okay, and after you sew around that edge, I forgot to tell you guys, I'm reminding you of our fun fan giveaway that we're doing monthly. And we're giving $50 of Ellie and Mac gift certificate, and so that's great because you can buy some awesome patterns with that. But in order for you to sign up and be entered to win, you have to comment below. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, comment below, let me know. And we will be giving a $50 gift certificate. So comment below, share, like, subscribe if you're not subscribed. And let me know, and then you'll be entered for that drawing. So I just wanted to let you know that. I totally forgot to mention that, but there it is. So anyway, so our hood is sewn on. So you see you've got this little hood thing right here. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to grab our hood liner, our hood band, and we're going to turn it wrong sides together. I'm sorry, not right sides. Wrong sides together, like so. I'm going to give it a little puff of steam so it will be easier to maneuver. Now we're going to go ahead and grab our hood, and I'm going to find the center of this band by folding it in half and marking it right here where the center would be. And I'm going to put that center right at the center of our hood, and we're attaching it to the raw edge. So the raw edges meeting together. So we're going to go to one side and meet those raw edges together right here. All the way down to the end of those raw edges. I'm making sure that they're all lined up. You just got to stretch it just a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. That was the one side. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Make sure those raw edges are matching up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my other hood and I put it right side right on top of it. So you're sandwiching that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer these pins and sandwich it in between. You see, right here where that pin was, we're going to move it out of the way and we're going to pin it together. I want to sandwich that band in between the outer and the liner hood. Okay, you gotta make sure that they're all catching. So this might take a little bit of moving around the fabric and tugging at it a little bit to make sure that they all match. I'm almost there. Can you see through my head? I'm leaning my head over. Can you see what I'm doing? I got it. It's just that my other fabric is not cooperating. There we go. There it is. And now the last piece. So you should have your band sandwiched between the liner and the outer, as you can see right there. So now we're going to go ahead and sew that on. When you're sewing it on, always make sure you're catching all of the fabric. You're going to have 4 layers, so you got to make sure you're catching all 4 layers of fabric. I usually give it a little bit of a start, and then I go ahead and make sure that everything's lined up. And go. Kind of like when you're doing a band, you got to kind of make sure that everything's all lined up, and well, it is a band. And everything is sewing nicely together. That's what we're doing. Making sure that everything's all nice in there. Almost there. Now when we turn it, there it is. Our hood is banded. So cute. Now, if you want to, you can go ahead and top stitch if you really want to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to the next step, which is our pocket. And then I'm going to go ahead and top stitch both of those at the same time. That way I don't have to come, go, come, go. So let me show you how to do this pocket, and then I'll go back and top stitch everything. I do like to top stitch my hoods and my pockets, so I'll be doing that anyway. So here's my pocket. There are 2 pieces on my pocket. Here's one, and here's my other piece, and I'm going to paste it right on top. And I'm going to sew all the way around it, except for I'm going to leave like a 1 inch to 2 inch gap to flip it around on. So I'm just putting my pin upside down like that. That way I know where to stop. But I'm going to go ahead and sew all the way around because we're sewing these 2 together. And the reason why I'm leaving that piece open right there is so I can turn it. You can do this with a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine. I'm just using my serger because I like it. But really, either one will work just fine. Making sure that it is all catching. Sometimes I get ahead of myself and it doesn't catch. Okay, here's where I don't like to do my my opening on the edge because then my corners are weird. I am going to trim those corners, and the reason why is because I don't want the bulk, and then if you say, oh well, it's gonna come apart. It might come apart, but what I'm gonna do is when I top stitch it on, I'll catch that on there, so I'm hoping that it'll be all right. If you don't want to, you don't have to cut those tails. If you do it on your sewing machine, sometimes it's easier for the tails to just be tucked in there. But I'm going ahead now. We're going to turn it around where you left that little gap. Turn that pocket around. All the way around. And I like to use anything I have around me. Sometimes it's a pencil, sometimes it's my serger tweezers to push that corner so it's nice and flushed. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go over here to my cover stitch, and I'm going to top stitch my hood all the way around to give it that finished look. And I am going to top stitch my pocket. Almost there. I'm trying to poke it out. There we go. And when you top stitch on, this gap will close. So you just tuck in those threads in there and kind of fold it. So go ahead and steam it. Let me go ahead and steam it, and then that will be down. Okay, here's our pocket. All right, so what we're gonna top stitch, what I'm gonna top stitch is the pocket openings. So just the openings, because the rest you're gonna top stitch, you're gonna sew it on once you sew it onto your romper. So all you have to top stitch is the parts that are not gonna be sewn on. So the pocket, see right here, the pocket sides where you would stick your hands. This is so tiny, I can't even fit my hands. But that's where you're top stitching, just along this edge. And I am top stitching along the edge of my hood. So all the way around the edge of my hood, that's where I'm top stitching. All right, so let me go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back and do the rest. All right, my pocket is top stitched, and so is my hood top stitched. So that's set aside. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach my pocket to my front. So this is my front piece, and I'm gonna grab my pattern piece, and I'm going to find where it tells me to put my pocket. So you gotta find your size, and it shows you right there exactly where to put it. So I'm gonna fold it in half and make sure that it's right on the right half, and right there is where it wants me to put it. So that's where I'm gonna place my pocket. So now I'm gonna go ahead and pin, make sure it looks even. And when we sew this pocket on, now you can sew with a zigzag stitch, you can top stitch it on, you can, however you wanna sew it on. But you gotta make sure that you only sew the top, the sides, and the bottom. Where the pockets go right here that you already top stitched, do not top stitch that. Do not sew that, because that doesn't need to be sewn, because that's where their hands are gonna go. If you sew that shut, their hands won't be able to go in there. So if you don't want a workable pocket, then you can just do that if you want. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. I'm just gonna head over here to my cover stitch and do it on my cover stitch. Just because I think it looks a little bit more finished, so that's why I'm doing that. You don't need to do that if you don't have a cover stitch. It's not necessary. You can just do either a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine, or you could probably even do a straight stitch right there. Now I'm turning. Oops. It would help if I put my foot down, wouldn't it? Almost there. I love my cover stitch. I think it gives it like such a neat look when you have the double needle. Oh, you can also do it with a double needle if you have a double needle. Yes, that's right. So now my pocket is on. I'm going to take all these pins off and steam it. Give it a little bit of a steam. Alright, so there it is, my pocket. And now that I've put my pocket on, oh my goodness, this is going to be so cute. I want to wear it, but it's too small for me. Okay, my snap placket. Now if you're not doing snaps, obviously if you're not doing a pocket, you skip that step. If you're not doing snaps, you skip this step, but I'm going to show you anyhow, because I am doing snaps. And I have my snap placket right here. And I'm going to grab my interfacing, and I'm putting it right on. This is fusible knit interfacing. And now I'm going to fold it wrong sides together. And I'm going to give it a good steamy steam. So it will be closed. And so then we're going to grab our romper. And you're going to do this, you got two of these. You're going to do this to the front and the back. But I'm only doing it to the front right now, showing you the front. But you're going to do it to both. So I'm going to find the middle of this snap placket. And I usually mark it with a little notch with my scissors that will get eaten when I sew it on. So it's not that big of a deal, I don't think. And I'm doing the same thing to this. If you don't want to snap it, you can just pin it, clip it, That would be just fine. So now we're gonna go ahead and find that piece that I just did, and you put in right sides together on the right side of the romper. And we're going all the way down to one side, matching those raw edges together, kind of like we did for the hood. And then we'll do the same thing over to the other side, going down, matching those raw edges together. And pin. And now we're going to go ahead and serge that to that raw edge and the crotch part. Make sure that your fabrics are all there. What I do is I'll get it started, and then I make sure that I'm catching what I need to catch, and nothing more and nothing less. And then I go to the next one. Here we are. Making sure that you're moving everything out of the way underneath it so you're not catching from the other part of the romper. Because I've done that before. The bad thing about serging, the only downside to me to serging is the knife. Okay, right here, look how I went. I didn't go high enough, so I have like a little gap. And sometimes when I do that, you can go back in your serger and run it again, but sometimes I just like to do a zigzag stitch if it's a small part, because I'm afraid, like I was just gonna say, the thing I don't like about the serger is the knife. Sometimes I'm afraid that the knife is going to cut more of my fabric. So if it's just a little part like it was right here, I'll just zigzag it. Zigzag stitch right there. And then that's fine. Just gotta cut all those little threads, but that's like nothing happened. And usually too, like if you're doing a neckband and it's like a small band and you don't want to mess it up, I will do that too. If I skip a stitch or something, I'll do it with a zigzag stitch over it, just because the serger sometimes can be a little tricky. All right, so now my placket is on. Cute. And it's on my back as well. And now we're going to put our back and front together. So here's my front face up. Here's my back. I'm going to put it right on top of it, and I'm going to meet those shoulders. Shoulder seams right here. And pin. And pin. If you guys like lemonade, I love lemonade. And so like when I sew this fabric, oh, and now we're going to go ahead and sew those shoulders. When I sew this fabric, I thought, I have to have it. I have to have it. And I've made a couple of things with it because I obviously bought more than I probably needed. Tell me, comment below and let me know, do you buy fabric for a project, or do you just buy fabric that you like and then find a project that suits the fabric? I think I do both. Sometimes I will buy a fabric, I'll see a fabric online, I'm like, I need that for this project. But then sometimes I'll just buy random fabric like this green, hunter green. Like I literally got this at the store for $1 a yard. And it's actually really good fabric, knit fabric. I'm like, I gotta have it. So I bought everything that was left on the boat because you can use this, you know? And then, so I was so excited when I bought it. So then I made a bunch of little things with it, and I love this. This is the Be Genuine top. It's got the finger things, but I have my watch on, so I didn't put it on this one anyway. But, yeah, so cool. So anyway, enough of that. But yeah, what do you do? Do you buy fabric that you see and you're like, oh, that's so cute? Or do you say, no, don't buy it, you don't need it, wait till you have a project for it? I do both. So I have a lot of fabric, but sometimes I'm like, okay, this is what this fabric is for. Especially with swim. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy swim for this. Not always though, because I do have swim in there that I don't know why I bought it, but it's really cute. So I'm still like, I gotta make something with it. Anyway, so if you're making bands, if you're not making sleeves, you would go ahead and close up the bodice now. And then after you close it up, you would go ahead and attach the bands, just like you attach a neckband. If you have any questions on that, we do have a video on YouTube, or one of our YouTube videos called Bands, I think it's called. and it shows you exactly, I show you exactly how to put those bands on. So if you're doing sleeveless and you're doing bands, you would sew the side up right now and do that. But I am doing sleeves, so we're gonna move on to putting our sleeves on. Here are my tiny little baby sleeves, they're so cute. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna find the middle, the center, and I'm just gonna clip it like I usually do. If I held my scissors right. And open it up, and that little clip, the center top, I'm going to pin that right at the center top of our shoulder seam. And now we're gonna go down to one side, go sideways down, and all the way to the bottom, to the end of my sleeve. You know, I feel like, I don't know, my world was just rocked the other day when I realized that it's not armsicle. Why was I calling it armsicle? Why was I calling it armsicle? I don't know. It's armsci? I don't even know. Anyway, but I was calling it something wrong. All along, I was adding an extra vowel, or no, an extra consonant to it. Armsicle, but it's not armsicle, it's like armsci, something like that. How do you call it? What do you call it? Tell me what you call it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then it's just like the arm area over here. This arm area. The arms, whatever. I don't know. The armhole. Tell me what you call it. Let me know. Because I saw that the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've been calling the wrong thing all along. Who knew? Other people knew. You probably told me. Please correct me if I say something wrong. I really like it when you do. It helps me because I am self-taught, and I watch some YouTube channels, but not very much. I have the Spanish background, so my grandma taught me some things in Spanish. And so I don't really know what everything's called. So if I say something wrong, just let me know. Hey, Diana, that's not how you say it. And I won't take it the wrong way, I promise. So now we're going to go ahead and sew that sleeve on. I like to learn. And you should like to learn too. And I know you like to learn because you're here listening to me go on and on. And hopefully you are learning something. If you said that wrong, now you learned that you're saying it wrong with me. That's okay. I teach Spanish to high schoolers, and they get me all the time. I say things funny all the time, especially when I am immersed in the Spanish language. Then I'll go to say something in English and I'll have like a full-blown Spanish accent, and it's kind of funny. I think it's cute. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so here is my sleeve is on, and we're gonna do the same thing for the other sleeve, but I'm gonna go ahead. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so cute. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next step. That way we can sew the other sleeve on later. Actually, I moved on to the sleeve, but before the sleeve, we should do our hood. I mean, it doesn't matter if you do it now or if you did it already. I mean, if you didn't do it already, but on our steps, on our tutorial, we do our hood first. And I usually like to stay with the steps of the tutorial. That way you don't get confused. But I went the wrong way. Okay, so we're gonna attach our hood. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's find the front and the back of our romper. And how we do that is we find the shoulder seams. We put the shoulder seams together and we go to the back, and that's our back, center back. And we attach the shoulder seams again. We put the shoulder seams together again, and we go to the front, and that's our front. I know, if you were paying attention and looking and seeing, why is she going to, I'm sorry, I tell you, anyway, all right, hood. We're gonna mark the back that we marked. We're gonna attach it to our back seam of our hood. So we're gonna pin that. And then we're gonna bring our hood up together to the front. And we're gonna overlap just a little bit. I'm thinking I'm just gonna overlap let me see, the instructions. You know, we can do different things with the hood. Some hoods call for like a couple inches overlap, some call for one. This one, I just wanted to make sure that I got it right. Yeah, we're just overlining the band. So I'm gonna pin it on the front, and I'm gonna put the end of the band where I marked that front. So like when I'm overlapping, I'm just gonna show you. Here's my little notch that I put right here, and here's my end of my band, because here's my band, here's the end of it. I'm gonna put that right there, so that when I come with my other side of my hood, I'm going to overlap it and do the same thing. Put the end of the band right there so they're overlapped, see? On top of each other. That way, when you open it up, they're right on top of each other. So I'm gonna pin that right there. Now, what we're gonna do is, we're going to baste that together, because that right there is kind of hard sometimes to keep it together when you're trying to sew the hood on. So it's easier to baste. There is nothing wrong with basting. If you are not confident sewing something, oh gosh, my sewing machine. I lost my thread on my sewing machine, so I thought I was basting, but I wasn't. Good thing I didn't let go of it. And this is why I notched too, because if I wouldn't have notched, I wouldn't have known where it was. Okay, come on. There it is. All right, let's try this again. Oh my goodness, why is my sewing machine doing this? It's so aggravating. Where is my... There it is. Tell me that your sewing machine is temperamental as well as mine. Every once in a while, it gets angry at me. And it does something. It doesn't want to work. It goes on strike. And that was the bobbin. It wasn't my sewing machine. That was a bad bobbin. I threaded it badly. I don't know why. There we go. Tell me, does this happen to you? You're in the middle of a sewing project and you're going so well and you think, oh, this is going good. And then you end up having to struggle with your sewing machine because it doesn't want to do what you want it to do? Yes. Let's see if this works now. All right, here we go. Cross your fingers for me, please. It worked. Finally. But now I have all this stuff everywhere. All right. Please tell me I'm not the only one. All right, so now that it's basted on, we're gonna go along the edges and we're going to make sure that we're lined up both hoods to the edge of our fabric because we want to catch all 3 layers. Okay, so you're just kind of pulling and pinning to make sure they're all going to catch. Same to the other side. You don't want one of the layers to go down and then your hood is not really attached. But it's fine if that happens because then you can just go back with your either your serger or your sewing machine. I'm sorry. I'm having all kinds of problems today. I don't know. And fix it. So now I'm going to go ahead and start from the back and sew the raw edges together. And when you get to the front, make sure that you're all together. But that you're not cutting anything else. Just what you need. Not the front, not the back. Almost there. Alright, my hood is on. How cute is this thing? Look at that. Perfect overlap because I basted on. Now I'm gonna go ahead and now that my sleeve is already on, we're gonna turn it right sides together, I'm sorry. And we're gonna go ahead and sew our sides together. We're gonna match up I'm gonna make sure I match up my armpit seam and go up from one side of the sleeve all the way down to the bottom. Come on. All the way down, all the way around that edge. So I'm going to go ahead and sew that edge together, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other side. Attach the other sleeve, because you know we only attached one sleeve, and sew the side for the other side. I'm going to go ahead and do that and do the other side, and then we'll come back and finish it up. We're almost done. All right, friends, so my sleeve is on, and now we're going to move on to our cuffs. And if you're doing the band, you already banded it on there, so you don't need to worry about this. But now we're doing cuffs, and so I'm going to grab my arm cuff first, hand cuff, and we're going to turn it right sides together. And here's my raw edge, so we're going to sew one long continuous band. And we can go ahead and do the same thing for the leg band. Oh my goodness. Because that way we just going to go ahead and prep them. And you can do it to all four, but I cheated and I attached the other ones already, so this is why I'm only doing this one. But you can do all four right now and go ahead and get them all prepped out. Sometimes I like to go ahead and do that and get it out of the way. So now I have my both bands prepped out. You know that the pant is the one that's longer and the arm is the shorter one. So we're going to go ahead and turn it wrong sides together to meet them at the raw edge. So you just kind of folded them, and now you're meeting them at the raw edge. And I'm going to grab the seams and put them together right here. Oh, it's such a cute little armband. So tiny. I just had a little niece, and so I'm sewing all this stuff, baby stuff. It's so cute. When I had my baby, who is a lot bigger now, I did not know how to sew, so I didn't make him anything. I crocheted, so I made him crochet hats and stuff like that, but I didn't know how to sew, so I didn't do anything like that for him. You can do the same thing to the pant cuff too, so just go ahead and get it prepped. Wrong sides together. Now tell me, do you sew for your children? Comment below and let me know who you sew for. I sew for my child, yes. He's older now, so it's not as fun. I mean, it is fun, and especially he enjoys it. He likes it. He loves when I sew for him. But I sew for him. I sew for my nieces. Have yet to sew for my husband. He's very picky when it comes to clothes, so I'm kind of like, ooh. Anyway, so armband, armband. I'm going to go ahead and shove it in that arm. See my arm right here? We're going to put that armband over it. And we're going to meet those, that seam. The two seams, the seam of the armbands and the seam of the sleeve together. And we're going to make sure that all the raw edges are touching. And we're going to sew those raw edges together. So just an armband right in there, and you're sewing those raw edges together. I don't feel I need to quarter this because it fits pretty good in there. It would help if I, you can pin it if you'd like. I'm just going to go for it. If you have a hard time sometimes with them, I take my time. I go kind of slowly. Make sure you move everything else out of the way so you're not sewing anything else. If you have a hard time and you want to, a lot of times when I'm doing something like this, precise and little, I will choose to do zigzag stitch instead, because with the zigzag stitch instead of the serger, look, there it is. That was easy. But because with the zigzag stitch instead of the serger, it's easier to pick the stitches off if you did something wrong. Sometimes I'll do that. because with the serger, it'll eat part of the fabric too, so you have to be very careful. That's the only thing about sergers that I'm a little bit about, that they eat your fabric. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Okay, bottom, pant cuff. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna overlap the two snap bands together, like this, and you're gonna baste them together. That way when you go to sew it on, they don't kind of wiggle out for you. If you did not do the snap placket, you would sew those together, right sides together right now. You would put right sides together of the bottom of the pant and sew it together, right sides together first. But because because we did the placket, I'm gonna put them together, the two bands overlapping each other. Make sure that they're right side. Whoa. And I'm gonna go ahead and baste them together. That way when I go to sew my cuff on, it doesn't like come apart, and that would be very annoying. Alright, so they're basted on, so it's like a pant leg. And I'm going to grab my cuff, and I'm going to fit it in, matching the raw edges together, same as you just did with the arms. Right at the raw edge. Okay, and I'm doing the same thing I did with the arms, stretching it out, meeting those raw edges together, and now I'm going to sew it on. Take it slow. All in there, all three of them, no more, no less. And we are pretty much done. There we are. Oops. It is on. And see right here, I left a couple gaps where my snap is. I knew that was going to happen. So when I do that, again, I go with a zigzag stitch over it rather than a serger stitch. You can do a serger stitch. Sometimes I do a serger stitch, but when it's this little, I like to just do a zigzag stitch. Because then I don't have to worry about the serger eating any of it. There it is. Now I just got to pull my basting stitch out. And that leg is done. And our romper is done, unless you're doing snaps. Oh my gosh, how cute is this thing? Tell me that this is not the cutest thing ever. All right, so I already did a couple snaps, and this is what I did. I opened up my placket just like this, face up. I found my middle because I want to snap in the middle. It really all depends on where you want your snaps. And then you want to measure so that they're evenly spaced. And then, so I'm spacing, I'm only doing 3 snaps because this is a small one. So I did one in the middle and one in between the 2 sides because the leg will keep it closed. So now I'm going to do the next one, and I'm going to measure it to make sure that's like kind of right in the middle. Now let me open this one so that way I can get in there. Ow! I broke a nail. Because you know why? Because these are not painted. I just broke it. Whenever I don't paint my nails, I always break them when I try to do something like this. Okay, so my snap is right here, and here's my middle. You can mark it with pen or whatever you want to mark it. Here's my owl. And I'm just going to go ahead and, well, I have to pick it up because I don't want to rip a hole in my romper. So I want to pick it up, make sure that they're both even. Let me open this one too. Make sure that they're both even. Where I put that mark right here, I'm going to go ahead, wait, is that where I put that mark? No, I don't see it. Yeah, right there. where I put that mark right there, I'm putting it right, they're both right on top of each other. I'm gonna make that hole. Can't get over it, I broke it now. It's not that big of a deal. And I'm gonna put that top one on there. I always was wondering about snaps, and I'm like, how hard are the snaps? They're really not that hard to do at all. I have this little snap tool, and there is one. And I'm gonna do the same thing to the bottom one, but remember, from the bottom one, you gotta come from the bottom. The first time I did it, I came from the top as well, and then when I put it on, it didn't work. There. And now I have my snap. One. Oh, you know why that one's so hard to take off? Because I didn't push it all the way. There we go. It's being stubborn. There we go. 2 and 3. There they are. And our romper is done. Yay! Let me know if you have any questions, comment below. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to see it. If you're not part of our Facebook or Instagram page, join us. We'd love to see your makes, and we'd love to show for you to come see everybody else's makes and enjoy them so you can get some inspiration. Let me know if you have any questions about anything I did today. Let me know if you wish to see what else you wish to see me sew. Come join us over at the Facebook page where we have sew-alongs on a consistent basis, and we do them together. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'm gonna go fix my nail, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.